Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we're going to continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 6, Chapter 9. We're going to read text 43 today. Does anyone remember what we were reading yesterday?
Hare Krishna. They, yeah. So at first they glorified, right, and then they inquired, and then now they prayed again. But this time they were glorifying devotees. They were glorifying the devotees, how they have felt the transcendental bliss, and they they spoke about the Kama and the Sakama devotees. The Kama devotees who are pure devotees who don't really want to disturb the Lord for any material benefits, and that they agree to face the consequences of their past karma, and in the times of difficulties they rather they serve more, and they chant more, they pray more, because they understand that Lord Krishna is the cause of all causes, and he's the knower, he knows everything, he's the active principle in all the living entities, in every atom. And the Sakama devotees, like the demigods, they still have some material desires, and they still like to have some material happiness. So when in the times of danger, they still pray to the Lord, approach the Lord for relief. And this is what the demigods were doing, and that's why they thought that they want to also apologize for asking for offering the prayers for their safety.
Yeah.
And then we read about we were reminded about how there are four kinds of men who begin devotional service: the arthati, jigyasu, and gyani. One in distress, one in need of money, one who are inquisitive, and one who are searching for the absolute truth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. So we are going to continue now. Eta eva swayam tad upakalapayasmakam bhagavata parama.
अत एव स्वयं तद् उपकल्पायास्मकं भगवत परम गुरुस्.
Gurustava charana shatapala shakchayam vividha rajina samsara.
Gurustava charana sata palas
जयं विविद्य
vrijina samsara.
Parishram mokpasha manim upashritanam vayam yad kameno pasaditaha.
उपश्रणां वयं यत् कामेन प्रसादिताः.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Dear Lord, you are omniscient and therefore you know very well why we have taken shelter at your lotus feet, which provides shade that gives relief from all material disturbances. Since you are the supreme spiritual master and you know everything, we have sought shelter of your lotus feet for instruction. Please give us relief by counteracting our present distress. Your lotus feet are the only shelter for a fully surrendered devotee and are the only means for subduing all the tribulations of this material world. One need only seek shelter of the shade of the Lord's lotus feet. Then all the material tribulations that disturb him will be subdued, just as when one comes under the shadow of a big tree. The disturbances caused by the heat of the scorching sun are immediately mitigated without one's asking for relief. So Prabhupada is mentioning here in the purport. When it's really hot and there's a nice shade, nice shady tree there, you just stand under the tree and then one can feel relief. Don't have to ask the tree anything. So similarly, by taking shelter of the Supreme Lord, by surrendering to the Supreme Lord, one gets one's miseries are mitigated. And the Lord's feet are described. There's also a marking of an umbrella at the Lord's lotus feet. So that umbrella also signifies that it protects us from all the material tribulations, the material miseries. Therefore, the whole concern of the conditioned soul should be the lotus feet of the Lord. The conditioned soul suffering from various tribulations because of existing in this material world can be relieved only when he seeks shelter at the Lord's lotus feet. So, actually, what happens when we get some distress, we try to make a remedy for it. So there may be a temporary remedy for it. We may find some temporary remedy. But then again, another distress might come and another. It doesn't mean that we should not progress in life. Yeah, of course, we need to progress. But if we actually want permanent relief from misery, then we are being asked to take shelter of the Lord's lotus feet. Because it's only by surrendering to Krishna that we can actually feel relief from the material misery, actually find solution to our problems. Atho Isha Jahitvashtam
Atho Isha Jahitvashtam
Grasantam Bhuvanatrayam
Grasantam Bhuvanatrayam
Grastani Yena Na Krishna
Grastani Yena Na Krishna
Tejamsi Astra Yudhani Cha.
Tejamsi Astra Yudhani Cha.
Therefore, O Lord, O Supreme Controller, O Lord Krishna, please annihilate this dangerous demon Vṛtrāsura, Tvashta's son, who has already swallowed all our weapons, our paraphernalia for fighting, and our strength and influence. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 7, chapter 7, text 15 to 16, Namam duskritano mudha prapadyante naradhama maya yapaharata jnana asuram bhavam ashritaha chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukritana arjuna artho jigyasur artharthi jnani cha bharatarshava. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me, O best among the Bharatas, Arjuna. Four kinds of pious men render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desirer of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute. So here the demigods, they are surrendering to the Supreme Lord. They are afraid. Vṛtrāsura, they know they can't fight him. Vṛtrāsura has also swallowed their weapons, destroyed. So they are fearful. They are fearful of themselves, of their kingdom. Here Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport, in Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, 4 kinds of people surrender to him, 4 kinds don't surrender. The 4 classes of neophyte devotees who approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead to offer devotional service because of material motives are not pure devotees, but the advantage for such materialistic devotees is that they sometimes give up their material desires and become pure. So, the 4 kinds of pious men coming to Krishna: distressed, desirer of wealth, inquisitive, searching for knowledge. Coming to Krishna, but already coming to Krishna is a very glorious thing. There's a material desire, but at least they are coming to Krishna. Krishna is saying, come to me. And then what happens is that one has a chance to become a pure devotee. One has a chance that one can be completely purified and give up all the materialistic desires. When the demigods are utterly helpless, they approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead in grief with tears in their eyes, praying to the Lord. And thus they become almost pure devotees free from material desires. Admitting that they have forgotten pure devotional service because of extensive material opportunities, they fully surrender to the Lord, leaving to His consideration whether to maintain them or annihilate them. So, like when we are faced with really great danger, you just cry out then. At that moment, you forget everything, like how you all have been saying, because of so much rattling of the earthquakes, then you're all just crying out to Krishna. So, that is surrender. That is surrender to Krishna. Such surrender is necessary. Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, Mara be rakha be, yo ichha tohara. O Lord, I fully surrender unto your lotus feet. Now, as you desire, you may protect me or annihilate me. You have the full right to do either. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he is showing us Sharanagati, how to surrender, how to pray to the Lord. O Lord, I fully surrender unto your lotus feet. Now, as you desire, you may protect me or annihilate me. You have the full right to do either. Hamsaya dhara nilayaya nirikshakaya.
Shakaya
Krishnaya mrishtaya shase nirupakramaya.
Krishnaya
Yashase Nirupakaramaya
Maya
Tatsangrahaya bhavapanta nija shamaktav.
Sangrahaya Bhavapanthamajashrama
Ante parishta gataye haraye namaste.
Ante
Parishta Gatai
Hariye Namaste.
Namaste.
O Lord, O Supreme Pure, you live within the core of everyone's heart and observe all the desires and activities of the conditioned souls. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, known as Lord Krishna, your reputation is bright and illuminating. You have no beginning, for you are the beginning of everything. This is understood by pure devotees because you are easily accessible to the pure and truthful. When the conditioned souls are liberated and sheltered at your lotus feet after roving throughout the material world for many millions of years, they attain the highest success of life. Therefore, O Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, we offer our respectful obeisances at your lotus feet. The demigods certainly wanted Lord Vishnu to relieve their anxiety, but now they directly approach Lord Krishna. For although there is no difference between Lord Krishna and Lord Vishnu, Krishna descends to this planet in his Vasudev feature for the purpose of Vṛtrānaya sadhanam vinashaya cha dushkritam, protecting his devotees and annihilating the miscreants. So here, the devotees, now they are addressing Lord Vishnu as Lord Krishna. They are praying to Lord Krishna now directly. They had begun worshipping Lord Vishnu. Now they're calling out to Krishna. Demons or atheists always disturb the demigods or devotees, and therefore Krishna descends to punish the atheists and demons and fulfill the desire of his devotees. Krishna, being the original cause of everything, is the Supreme Person, above even Vishnu and Narayan, although there is no difference between these different forms of the Lord. So there's no difference between Lord Vishnu, Lord Narayan, and Krishna. But yet, the original form, original personality of Godhead is Shyam Sundar Krishna. Ete Chamsa Kalapumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. As explained in Brahma Samhita 546. Deparchir eva hi dashantaram abhyupetya dipayate vivrita hetu samana dharma yastadrag eva hi cha vishnu taya vibhati govindam adi purusham tam aham bhajami. Krishna expands himself as Vishnu, the way a bright candle kindles another, although there is no difference between the power of one candle and another. Krishna is compared to the original candle. So, all the forms of God, they have equal power. It's just they exhibit as much power as is needed for that particular pastime. They are full in all opulences because his Lord himself is just a different form for him. It's inconceivable to us, but God is one. They're not different gods. So all these forms of the Lord have equal power. They just display as much as is needed. Prabhupada would say that, in our house, we need a small LED. So the powerhouse, that's what is powering, giving power to that small LED. But similarly, in a big factory, big warehouse, giant light is needed. So it's illuminating that one also. So as much power as is needed in a particular pastime, the Lord displays that. But otherwise, there is no difference. But yet, the original form of Lord is Krishna. So Lord Brahma is saying that how one candle lights all other candles, and all the candles are giving equal light and equal heat, but yet there is one original candle. So Krishna is compared to that original candle. The word Mrishta Yashase is significant here because Krishna is always famous for relieving his devotee from danger. A devotee who has sacrificed everything for the service of Krishna and whose only source of relief is the Lord is known as Akinchana. Kunti Devi also says that in her prayers that Lord Krishna is of the Akinchana, one who is completely taken shelter of the Supreme Lord. Akinchana Gochara. As expressed in the prayers, Prabhupada is mentioning here, as expressed in the prayers offered by Queen Kunti, the Lord is Akinchana Vita, the property of such a devotee. Those who are liberated from the bondage of conditioned life are elevated to the spiritual world, where they achieve 5 kinds of liberation: Sayujya, Salokya, Sarupya, Sashti, and Samipya. They personally associate with the Lord in 5 mellows: Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. These rasas are all emanations from Krishna. So Prabhupada is explaining here the pure devotee. The pure devotee, they get liberation, any of the 5 kinds of liberation. What is Sayujya? Mukti, does anyone remember? Let's see. No? So Sayujya is the one of merging into the Brahman. The pure devotee actually does not even consider this as liberation. Then Salokya. Salokya is living on the same planet as the Lord. Sarupya, having same form as the Lord. Sashti, having same opulence as the Lord. And Samipya, living in close proximity on the same planet. Close proximity of the Lord. And then they are having either of these 5 rasas: Shanta, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. These rasas are emanations from Krishna as described by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. The original mellow, Adi Ras, is conjugal love. Krishna is the origin of pure and spiritual conjugal love. So in the Madhurya Ras, all the rasas are there. The gopis serve, love Krishna in Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and of course Madhurya. It's the origin of all love. It's the highest of all love. Shri Shuka Vacha
Shri Sukha Uvacha
Athaivam Idito Rajan
Atheva Idito Rajan
Sadaram Tridasher Harihi.
Sadaram
Sadaram
Tridashir
Hari
Swam Upasthanam Akarnya
Swam
Upasthanam
Upasthanam
Akarni
Akarni
Prahatan Abhinanditaha.
Prahatan
Rahata Abhinanditaha.
Sri Sukadev Goswami continued, O King Parikshit, when the demigods offered the Lord their sincere prayers in this way, the Lord listened by his causeless mercy. Being pleased, he then replied to the demigods. So the Lord hears the prayers. He hears our prayers. Sri Bhagwan Uvacha
Bhagavad
Vacha
Gita
Pritoham Vasura Shrestha
Prito
Surashta
Mad Upasthana Vidyaya
Mat
Upasthanam Vidyaya
Vidyaya
Atmeshwarya Smriti Pumsam
Atmashwarya Smriti Pumsham
Bhaktischeva Yayamayi.
Bhaktischaiva Yayamayi.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O beloved demigods, you have offered your prayers to me with great knowledge, and I'm certainly most pleased with you. A person is liberated by such knowledge, and thus he remembers my exalted position, which is above the conditions of material life. Such a devotee is fully purified by offering prayers and full knowledge. This is the source of devotional service to me. Another name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Uttama Shloka, which means that he is offered prayers with selected verses. Uttama Shloka. Lord is glorified by the most best of verses of the Vedas. Bhakti means Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, chanting and hearing about Lord Vishnu. Impersonalists cannot be purified, for they do not offer personal prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even though they sometimes offer prayers, the prayers are not directed toward the Supreme Person. So here Prabhupada is pointing out the importance of offering personal prayers to Krishna, understanding he's a person, addressing him directly. You know, when you know a great person, you call out to him, you need his help. You're not saying, oh great one, but you really know him. You know his name, and you are approaching him directly. Then he's gonna hear also. He'll say, okay, let me see what I can do for you. So it becomes personal then. Impersonalists sometimes show their incomplete knowledge by addressing the Lord as being nameless. They always offer prayers indirectly, saying, you are this, you are that, but they do not know to whom they are praying. A devotee, however, always offer personal prayers. A devotee says, Govindam Adi Purusham Tam Aham Bhajami. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Govinda, unto Krishna. That is the way to offer prayers. If one continues to offer such personal prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is eligible to become a pure devotee and return home back to Godhead. So Vandanam, offering prayers. Prabhupada is saying when one is offering personal prayers to Supreme Lord, he becomes a pure devotee, and then he can go back home. So having a personal relationship with Krishna, seeking Krishna as shelter. Kim durapam mai prite
Indurapam mai priti
Priti
tathapi vibhudarshabhaha
Tatapi Vibhutar
Shabha
Sabha
mai ekanta matirnanyan
Mai Ekanta Mati Nanyan
mato vanchati tattvavid.
Mato Vanchati
Vanchati
Tatvat.
O best of the intelligent demigods, although it is true that nothing is difficult for one to obtain when I am pleased with him, a pure devotee whose mind is exclusively fixed upon me does not ask me for anything but the opportunity to engage in devotional service. When the demigods finished offering their prayers, they anxiously waited for their enemy Vṛtrāsura to be killed. And that's what they kept saying now. You please come as an incarnation. You please come incarnation and you kill Vṛtrāsura. That's what the demigods wanted. So this means that the demigods are not pure devotees. Although without difficulty one can get anything he desires if the Lord is pleased. The demigods aspire for material profit by pleasing the Lord. The Lord wanted the demigods to pray for unalloyed devotional service, but instead they prayed for an opportunity to kill their enemy. This is the difference between a pure devotee and a devotee on the material platform. Indirectly, the Lord regretted that the demigods did not ask for pure devotional service. So Krishna is telling them, Lord Vishnu is telling them that my pure devotees, when they pray, their only desire is Ahaituki Bhakti Tori. I just want to engage in pure devotional service. Lord Chaitanya teaches us, Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram, Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Vadao, Kripaya Tava Pada Pankaja Stitaduli Sada Samachintaya. Oh, that's the other one. That's the later verse. That I want to be situated as a particle of dust at your lotus feet. And pick me up from this ocean of material existence and place me as a particle of dust at your lotus feet. And na dhanam na janam na sundaram kavitam va jagadisha kami mama janmani janmanishwari bhavatad bhaktir ahaitu ketoi. The Lord Chaitanya is teaching us how the pure devotee prays. I don't want any women, I don't want followers, I don't want what is that? Dhanam. I don't want any wealth. What I want is just to engage in your pure devotional service. So Prabhupada is putting here in the purport that they are praying to the Lord. They are praying, and the Lord is there in front of them. So they could have asked for pure devotional service. So in this context, Prabhupada would tell one story that there's one old woman and she makes a living by selling wood. So she goes to the forest, collects the wood, and then she sells it, gets a little bit of money for it. That's how she maintains herself. So one day, as she's going, she has this bundle of wood on her head. The bundle falls down. Now she's an old woman, no? She doesn't have so much strength. So she starts crying and praying, come, help me, somebody, please help me. I'm helpless here in this helpless situation. Please help me. So God appears in front of her. And she could have asked for God anything, but then she asked, kindly help me place this wooden bundle on my head. So we may be like that sometimes. That we can ask for the Supreme Lord for pure devotional service, but we ask for so many other things. But whatever is our situation, we may ask for other things, but let us also try to get a desire that, okay, when I want to be able to ask for pure devotional service, we may not be there as yet, but somehow or the other, let us have a desire that at least we can desire in that way. Anyone wanted to add anything, comment? Going on. Naveda Kripana Shreya.
Naveda Kripana Shriya
Atmano Guna Vastudrik.
Atmano Guna Vastudrik
Tasya Tan Ichato Yached.
Tasya Tan Achato Yachid
Yadi Sopi Tatha Vidaha.
Yadi Sopi Tatha Vidaha.
Those who think material assets to be everything or to be the ultimate goal of life are called misers, kripanas. They do not know the ultimate necessity of the soul. Moreover, if one awards that which is desired by such fools, he must also be considered foolish. There are two classes of men, namely the kripana and the brahmana. A brahmana is one who knows Brahman, the absolute truth, and who thus knows his real interest. A kripana, however, is one who has a material, bodily concept of life, not knowing how to utilize his human or demigod life. A kripana is attracted by things created by the material modes of nature. The kripanas who always desire material benefits are foolish, whereas brahmanas who always desire spiritual benefits are intelligent. So Prabhupada is explaining here in the purport two classes of men, kripana and brahmana, miser and a brahmana. So why is this classification? Because brahmana is understood. I'm not this body, I'm spirit soul. So let me engage into understanding the absolute truth. And whereas the kripana, why is called a kripana? Because it's like, a miser. He has a lot of money. But instead of using the money, he just stores it. That's why it's called miser. So if we have a human form, and if we don't use it to understand our real nature, understand our relationship with Krishna, then we are acting as a miser. Because we have this body which we can use to understand our relationship with Krishna. So the kripanas who always desire material benefits are foolish, whereas brahmanas who always desire spiritual benefits are intelligent. So we can understand what is real intelligence then. The real intelligence is to try to understand the absolute truth, to try to understand who we are, what's our relationship with Krishna. If a kripana, not knowing his self-interest, foolishly asks for something material, one who awards it to him is also foolish. Krishna, however, is not a foolish person. He is supremely intelligent. If someone comes to Krishna asking for material benefits, Krishna does not award him the material things he desires. Instead, the Lord gives him the intelligence so that he will forget his material desires and become attached to the Lord's lotus feet. In such cases, although the kripanas offer prayers to Lord Krishna for material things, the Lord takes away whatever material possessions the kripana has and gives him the sense to become a devotee. So Krishna is saying here in this verse that one who is asking material things is foolish, and one who is fulfilling such material desires is also foolish. So Prabhupada is explaining in the purport that Krishna is not foolish. One may ask Krishna for some material benefit, but if Krishna thinks that it is detrimental to one's path of devotion, then Krishna does not give that. Because then one may say, oh, how mean Krishna is. No, but because Krishna is eagerly waiting for us to go back to him. So then Krishna understands that, oh, if I fulfill this desire of this devotee, then he'll unnecessarily get more entangled in the material world. He's going to unnecessarily suffer more. So to expedite it in a faster way, that the devotee can come back faster to the spiritual world, Krishna sometimes may not listen to if we ask for some material benefit, if Krishna thinks that that is going to distract us from devotional service. And instead, Krishna gives once more encouragement to take up devotional service in a more determined way, as stated by the Lord in the Caitaniya Caritamita, Madhya Leela 22.39. Ami Vigya e Murkhe Vishaya Kene Deva, Swacharana Amrita Diya Vishaya Bhulaiva. Since I'm very intelligent, why should I give this fool material prosperity? Instead, I shall induce him to take the nectar of the shelter of my lotus feet and make him forget illusory material enjoyment. So the Lord is saying that I'm intelligent. Why should I listen to somebody who's not intelligent? I know what is good for this person. Let me, in fact, make him take shelter of my lotus feet so that he can become so happy, so blissful. If one sincerely prays to God for material possessions in exchange for devotional service, the Lord, who is not foolish like such an unintelligent devotee, shows him special favor by taking away whatever material possessions he has and gradually giving him the intelligence to be satisfied only by rendering service to his lotus feet. So then one may get scared, oh my God, Krishna is going to take away everything from me, I'm going to suffer. But we have to understand, Krishna is not going to give us anything what we are not ready for. Krishna is our Father. He's very kind to us. He loves us. Because someone may hear this and get very afraid. Oh my God, Krishna is going to take away whatever I have, then I'm going to suffer. But no, Krishna does not make us suffer. Krishna, he's trying to, in fact, make us happy. That's what he wants. So the more we engage in hearing and chanting, the more Krishna gives us the intelligence to engage more in hearing and chanting. So we can feel the bliss more and more, to be satisfied by engaging in devotional service. It's like when one eats food, wholesome food, one automatically feels satisfied and nourished. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments in this regard that if a foolish child requests his mother to give him poison, the mother, being intelligent, will certainly not give him poison, even though he requests it. So here Prabhupada is telling us how Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is explaining this to us. If our child asks us, give me poison, we're going to say, what's wrong with you? Are you crazy? No way. So Krishna is like that with us. A materialist does not know that to accept material possessions means what? Means to accept poison or the repetition of birth and death. An intelligent person, a Brahmana, aspires for liberation from material bondage. That is the real self-interest of a human being. So we may be foolish, but Krishna is intelligent. So that's the reason Krishna says, whatever you have, whatever desires you have, you come to me. Because then I'm going to see what desires to fulfill and what not to fulfill, and gradually bring you back home, back to Godhead. Is that okay? Comments, questions? Okay. So then we're going to stop here for today. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Gaur Bhakti.